are an artist or you're not. So I still have that. I'm a creative tradesperson. I kind of put it that way.
I've been an artist for trying to count that long.
I just thought, well, I've always wanted to do pottery. Don't know anybody who'll take a pottery class. And I really liked it.
I call myself a painter. That's just an easiest way to answer people's questions when they ask me what I do.
When we first purchased the building was used as a storage warehouse. It was in very, very poor shape. The roofs were all leaking, and it was filled to the rafters with everything from 50,000 fluorescent light fixtures to old transformers.
For me, this building is actually, it's very beautiful. Like, I like the architecture, like it's very rough. It's like an old warehouse. NGB and National Grocers building, so there were like freezers. Like, we're sitting in a freezer basically right now.
It's taken me literally 6 years to slowly renovate and slowly, put this whole thing together.
Even if it's renovated or redeveloped, you still see that characteristic that it originally was.
We have now approaching 14 studios rented out. It's essentially come on in and do whatever you want to do and enjoy the space and share the creativity.
It's almost fully occupied by a whole series of artists at this point, predominantly visual artists and tradespeople, but there's also bands and theater groups and stuff that use the space as well.
The old grocery store building does serve a need, because clearly the fairly high concentration of artists and artisans that we have in Kingston need a place to, do their work and apply their trade. I think it's a bit of a surprise to find that there it is. It's multi-floored, has huge spaces, has good light in general, and that's the sort of space they need, and it's reasonably cheap.
People can see that we're individuals, we're struggling, we seem to be able to make a living, we seem to be able to survive, and so it perhaps injects a little bit of possibilities for anybody with the idea that, well, maybe I would like to try to be creative and open a studio up.
I don't have a lease with Rick. I mean, if Rick came to me, and I'm sure he wouldn't, and said, "Oh, you got to get out in 2 months or something," that would be horrible. How would I find another spot just to keep my stuff, much less do my work? I mean, I couldn't store the stuff for the price that I pay for the studio.
Kingston doesn't have a lot of warehouses yet that have sort of got a collection of artists. This was one of the few spaces in the city that would fit my needs.
You find it in Toronto, they do exactly the same thing, or in New York, they have those old warehouses or factories that are dead, and it gets reused, which is it's like architectural recycling.
I mean, what it has given us is an opportunity to reinvent the whole idea of what cities are and where we are going with them.
Well, this area particularly, this sort of north of Princess area of Kingston, down on the water, was industrial. There was, fuel farms and mills and tanneries and all kinds of stuff down here.
One of the unfortunate things about Kingston is a lot of the 19th and early 20th century industrial buildings just got torn down, So they're gone. Those big empty spaces, where you do this kind of stuff, they just get torn down. Without any historical awareness, these things just vanish, which is a real shame. Why this place was still standing when Rick bought it, I don't know.
I think Kingston's always had a pretty vibrant arts culture, whether it is has been recognized as such, or whether it's just sort of below the surface and operating without any structure.
And I think most people think of Kingston as just a little provincial town, and there's really not much to offer, and they just stay, put within, in their own little community. Nothing happens in Kingston, right? That's the assumption.
In my dreams, if I was dreaming, I would like to see the artist's sort of complex remain perhaps on the ground floor level throughout here, and then perhaps build sort of artist-owned condominiums or keep the whole flavor down here.
I hope to stay as I like the space. I want to stay, and hopefully circumstances are such that I can stay here.